We are officially entering the final third of the 2025 NFL season. This is the home stretch. Some teams are locked in, some teams are locked out, and others are living in the middle. But this week could be absolutely massive for some teams' playoff hopes. Last week I went 10-5, bringing my total record on the season to 102, 61, and 1. In this video, I'll be predicting every week 12 game with score predictions. If you enjoyed this video, then please drop a like and subscribe if you're new. Score predictions are second, and it really helps me out. Thank you, and let's get started. Indianapolis Colts versus Kansas City Chiefs. Somehow, someway, the Chiefs aren't just on the outside looking in at the playoffs, they're not even really close. They lost a crucial game to the Broncos last week, and sitting at 5-5, there's a real shot we don't see the Chiefs in the playoffs this year. And this week doesn't get any easier as they're taking on a Colts team that was on bye last week, but before that beat the Falcons in overtime in a game where Jonathan Taylor had nearly 300 total yards and 3 touchdowns. Daniel Jones hasn't looked as sharp these past couple weeks, but with JT running like prime LaDainian Tomlinson, that doesn't really matter. However, I am taking KC at home 27-24. It's a lot of benefit of the doubt, but I just can't see Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs falling to 5-6. I just can't. They always seem to find a way to get it done, and I think that continues here. Seattle Seahawks versus Tennessee Titans. Guys, I think we need to call the Ghostbusters because it looks like Sam Darnold is seeing ghosts again. He's had a great season thus far, but in his last 2 games, he scored 1 touchdown to 7 turnovers, including a 0 touchdown, 4 interception game last week against the Rams, in a game the Seahawks only lost by 2. It was one of, if not the worst QB performance of the season, and it only furthers the fear that Darnold can't rise to the occasion in big moments, or that Jets Darnold is going to come out at any moment. Luckily, this is a great bounce back opportunity. The Titans are the worst team in football and just lost to the Davis Mills-led Texans, which after Thursday means a little bit more now, but you get the point. I'll take the Seahawks 28-14. Even if Darnold decides to throw 3 more picks for the hell of it, the Seattle defense is going to smother Cam Ward. Minnesota Vikings versus Green Bay Packers. I guess last Sunday was a really bad day for Vikings QBs because while Sam Darnold was stinking it up for the Seahawks, JJ McCarthy played probably his worst game of the season. Yeah, the final drive was great, and you love to see those flashes, but he was awful the entire rest of the game. There were tons of missed throws, bad interceptions, and the receivers weren't helping him out as they had 6 drops. The Bears game was a must-win for the Vikings, and now the playoffs seem almost entirely out of reach. The Packers got an ugly win over the Giants. Jordan Love actually played really well, but his receivers kept dropping passes, and the corners kept dropping interceptions. But in the end, they managed to pull it out, and now they have a big division game here. I think Green Bay gets it done 24-17. The Vikings can keep any game close with that defense, but I don't trust their offense to hang with Green Bay's. New York Jets versus Baltimore Ravens. Hey, the Jets are finally doing something right. After yet another game of Justin Fields barely knowing how to throw the football anywhere but the field, the Jets have decided to start Tyrod Taylor. It's not like Taylor's great or anything, but at least he knows how to play quarterback. The Ravens got an extremely ugly win over the Browns, but hey, a win's a win, and after starting 1-5, Baltimore is all the way back in the playoff race. I think they win their 5th straight here, 31-10. This really shouldn't be a shocking pick. Baltimore is roaring, and the Jets are the Jets. New York Giants versus Detroit Lions. More Jameis Winston. Jackson Dart is out once again, so Winston's getting the start this week. He wasn't great against the Packers, but he did play well enough to keep him in it the entire game, which counts for something. The Lions lost in a pretty ugly way to the Eagles. Jared Goff only completed 38% of his passes, they couldn't get the run game going at all, and they went 0-for-5 on 4th down. Sometimes you gotta know when to let it go. As we know, the last thing you want to face is a pissed off Lions team, and I think they take their anger out on the Giants with a 30-20 win. Jameis is going to do some funny stuff to keep it somewhat close, but the Lions will pull away in the end. Pittsburgh Steelers versus Chicago Bears. Well, the Bears almost did it again. They almost had another 4th quarter collapse against the Vikings, but they held on. Caleb wasn't very good. Honestly, the entire offense wasn't very good, but their defense did enough to get the win. The Steelers defense seems all the way back. We had concerns about them after letting up 33 points to Cincy and 35 to Green Bay, but since then they've been dominant, and in a rematch with Cincy, they only allowed 12. Aaron Rodgers is dealing with a wrist injury, but it's looking like he might play, and let's be honest, Rodgers isn't going to allow himself to miss a reunion with his son. Assuming Rodgers plays, I'll take Pittsburgh 21-20. Their defense should be able to contain the Bears offense, and Rodgers' ownership of Chicago continues. New England Patriots versus Cincinnati Bengals. After initially looking like he might be out for the season, Joe Burrow seems like he's gonna return in this game, which obviously is huge for the Bengals. Unfortunately for them, they won't have Jamar Chase for this one after he spat on Jalen Ramsey, and their defense has now allowed over 30 points in 4 straight games. The Patriots are coming off a comfortable win over the Jets. Trayvon Henderson broke out with 3 touchdowns, so let's hope they actually start using him properly now, and Drake May just continues his MVP run. Even with Burrow back, I'll take the Pats 34-23. The Bengals defense is, as we know, absolutely awful, and without Jamar, the Bengals won't be able to keep up. Cleveland Browns versus Las Vegas Raiders. We've had some pretty good games up to this point, but man, this one's gonna suck ass. The Raiders got BTA'd by the Cowboys and actually managed to make the Cowboys defense look good, which is a huge accomplishment in every possible wrong way. Geno Smith was terrible and the O-line couldn't block a fly. The Browns lost a close one to the Ravens. Their defense was elite with Myles Garrett getting another 4 sacks, but Dylan Gabriel got hurt and Shedeur Sanders finally got to see some action, where he proceeded to have probably the worst quarterback performance you'll see all season. 4 for 16 for 47 yards and an interception is truly something else. The timing was not perfect with this one. He is getting the start this week though, and I actually have him getting his first NFL win 17-14. The Browns defense is going to absolutely murder the Raiders, and that's all they really need to get this win. Jacksonville Jaguars versus Arizona Cardinals. What the hell are the Cardinals, man? Jacoby Brissett breaks the NFL record for completions in a game, finishing 47-57 for 452 yards. Michael Wilson casually puts up the best wide receiver performance we've seen this season, and the Cardinals lose by 19. Most Cardinals game ever. That's all I have to say. The Jaguars, after collapsing to the Texans, came back last week and dominated the Chargers in every conceivable way. Trevor Lawrence continues to be average, but the entire rest of the team played really well. I've seen a lot of people picking Arizona here, but I'm going to take Jacksonville 27-23. As long as they can run the ball and not turn it over too much, which they should be able to do against this Cardinals defense, it'll be fine. Philadelphia Eagles versus Dallas Cowboys. Hey, Dallas finally played a complete game of football. Both the offense and the defense looked great against the Raiders. Dak Prescott threw 4 touchdown passes and Quinnen Williams was in the backfield all game. Now they just need to build on this and start consistently winning games, something they haven't done all season. The Eagles got yet another ugly win, this time against the Lions. Who would have thought that out of all the NFC North teams the Eagles played this year, they allowed the most points to Carson Wentz? But that's besides the point. This defense is terrifying, and I think they beat the Cowboys once again 24-21. The Cowboys offense will always put up numbers, but I think they'll be mostly contained by Philly, and as long as their own offense can do something against the bad Cowboys defense, they should be fine. Atlanta Falcons versus New Orleans Saints. And here's another shitfest. The Saints are, well, the Saints. They were on bye last week, but actually managed to beat the Panthers the week before, and Tyler Shuck looked really good. We'll see if he can repeat that against a pretty good Falcons defense. The Falcons offense, though, yeah, that's a different story. Both Michael Penix and Drake London are out, Penix for the season, so it's Kirk O'Chain's time. I do think the Falcons win barely, 20-17. Kirk does in fact know how to throw a football more than 2 yards, and that's pretty much all you need to beat the Saints. Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus Los Angeles Rams. The Bucs are really lucky their division is so shit, because with all their injuries and insane schedule, it's a miracle they're still in first. But they are on a 2-game losing streak, and the Panthers are closing in fast. Luckily, Chris Godwin is expected to return, so that should help, but Bucky Irving is still out. Baker Mayfield is still playing really well, but I don't think he's been quite as good as he was to start the year. The Rams are every bit as good. They're on a 5-game win streak, and Matthew Stafford continues to play at an elite level. Their defense really shined in that game against Seattle, picking off Sam Darnold 4 times. I think the Rams continue their win streak with a 33-28 victory. The Bucs offense is really good, but the Rams are better, and I think they have the tools to run laps around this Bucs defense. Carolina Panthers versus San Francisco 49ers. Just as you're ready to write him off, Bryce Young always comes roaring back. He had probably the best game of his career last week against the Falcons, throwing for 448 yards and 3 touchdowns in an overtime win. Tevin Millen also looked great, and maybe this is something the two can build on going forward. The 49ers got Brock Purdy back, and he immediately showed why there's no QB controversy in San Fran, dropping 3 touchdowns and no interceptions in a dominant win over the Cardinals. Their defense gave up a lot of yardage, but they didn't break, and the 49ers, despite being in an extremely competitive division, are very much still alive. This could be a sneaky good game, but I'm taking the 49ers 30-26. I think Purdy and all these weapons can really expose the Panthers defense, and while that offense can put up points, they won't be able to keep up. But that's it. Those are my week 12 NFL predictions. Where do you agree? Where do you disagree? Comment below. If you enjoyed this video, then please drop a like and subscribe if you're new, and that's it for me. See ya.